Right, welcome ladies and gents. Let's talk The Last of Us episode 2. This series is very, very good. It's tense, it's gripping, the atmosphere is palpable. The acting is very, very good throughout. The only slight downside to me is the actor that plays Ellie. I'm not 100% feeling it, but I genuinely think she's good anyway, as is, just as an FYI. I'm just not going to sing, praises out the wazoo. There are still things which, are elevated and things which could be elevated to the same level as the others. So Pedro Pascal's performance is a huge standout. It's very, 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 very good. And actually, Anna Torv, who plays Tess, reminds me, and I was wondering what it was at the time. I was like, there's something about that performance that reminds me of something else. Her performance as Tess, Anna Torv's performance as Tess, reminds me massively of Mama from Dread. Madeline Madrigal. And I don't know what it is, but something about Anna Torv's performance as Tess reminds me massively of that. So now, what happened in this episode? So it's been out for a few days. You guys have seen it. So obviously I'm kind of reviewing it after the fact. So some slight spoilers, but obviously they're out in the quarantine zone, out in the open. And this is our first real test of seeing what the set pieces are like and what the prosthetics are like. And they are absolutely stellar. Now there's obviously some sound stages involved. There's obviously some green screen. I get that. But a lot of what lets this stuff down is the contrasting colours. That's generally what lets a lot of stuff down outside of this. It's kind of what lets down some of the Marvel products out there. When you see that sort of bombastic red Iron Man. It's the contrasting colours that make it look very weird and out of place. This stuff is blended and rendered so seamlessly. It looks beautifully post-apocalyptic and was just really, really nicely done. And I did wonder how they were going to do it, whether it would look good, because a lot of the trailers you don't see too much. You're not seeing a lot out in the open in the daytime, and it's the daytime that really gets it. It's easy to blend stuff, in low light. It's really easy to fake it in low light. Daylight is where it really falls apart, generally, but they nailed it. Their set pieces were really nice, beautifully done. The prosthetics, the bodies piled up, and the sort of interweaving cordyceps through it, loved it. Really, really good. And I like the pre-credits, pre-opening credits being the story unfolding of how it came to be. And also sets the stage for elements that are going to be in that episode. So today, second episode, we open up in Indonesia with an individual, the top Indonesian scientist on cordyceps, being picked up by the police, the military, and inspecting a body. And it's horrifying. Like, check the left leg, check the leg. Like, what the hell? Goes in the mouth. Finds all the cordyceps in the mouth, the sort of tendrils. It's just... And you can see the actor who played that professor was so good. The horror on her face. You felt it. You felt the ramifications of what was about to happen and what she had to prescribe moving forwards. She's like, there is no cure. There is no vaccine. That's it. And the military man's like, okay, what do you recommend then? Bombs. Bomb the city. Bombs everywhere. Bomb it with everyone in it. And she just starts crying and she's like, can someone take me home? Can someone take me home so I can be with my family? Obviously knowing full well, I would imagine the presumption is that she knows she's going to get bombed as well. And it is just horrifying. That actor was so good. But then, of course, flash forward, they're in the quarantine zone. They see, I say the quarantine zone, I don't know if that's what they called it, but they're out in the open, they're in the city. And they see massive holes, big craters. And they're like, is this where they bombed? So it relates back to the opening And obviously it's still telling the story of how it all came to be and how the world fell apart. But it's that sort of flashback and flash forward that I think works very, very well. Those sort of callbacks to, you know, elements that happened and how they pertain to the episode. I think that works very, very well. And yeah, it was really, really, really great. And then, of course, we see the clickers. I think they're called clickers. And the prosthetic work on them was, again, very nice. The movement work, I'm not going to say whether it 100% translates on screen or not, but the prosthetics were great. The makeup effects were absolutely stellar. The paint work, the colouring, it all worked really well. The gore in this is great. They have great blood effects. The thickness, the density of the blood work, really nice. There's a trail of blood coming up a set of stairs later in the episode, and it's deep, dark, black blood, and that is what that kind of blood, arterial sort of blood, that's what it looks like. It is black blood. It's awful. It's disgusting. It's not nice. It's thick. It's heavy. It's ugh. And they nailed it. They really nailed it. The tension in this episode, scoping through the museum, amazing. Absolutely amazing. And I think that they do a really, really good job of just showing you enough. Just enough there. There's that less is more element on these kind of things, which makes so much sense. You know, less is more is the rule of thumb for horror, because it's the fear of the unknown that gets the brain, the human brain, really, really terrified. You know, what's around the corner? Oh, nothing's there. Or, oh, there's something there. You know, what's it going to do? It's the fear of the unknown. It's the potential that's there. We know the potential of these things. We're learning it as we go through. And so the fact that they are just... so good. It's a really good episode. Obviously, slight spoiler. Tess dies. How she dies, oddly beautiful. You know, an infected tendrils down her mouth, and she's just lighting away, and she gets it just at the last minute. And it's this sort of moment where maybe she was connected to the fungus, maybe she wasn't. And then obviously sacrifices herself, blows everything up. Great episode, really, really good. And again, Pedro Pascal's acting elevates everything. And this is why I think the potential downside to this is just Bella Ramsey. You know, she's good. I think she's good in this. Don't get me wrong, but she has elevated as Pedro Pascal. Only time will tell on that, but it's just one of those things that, you know, I'm not going to just brown nose this series into oblivion. I think it is important to pick up elements here and there and go, you know, what's good, what's bad, and we'll see as it progresses. I really like it. I really like this episode. I really like the series as a whole at the moment. It's very, very good. And the tension work is great. Yeah. Genuinely awesome. If you've seen it, let me know what you think. I think this will be top of the list for a lot of people. I mean, HBO Max have nailed it with this. They really have. Getting Craig Mazin on board, you know, the people behind Chernobyl. They really nailed this. They really, really nailed it. And I'm keen to see where it goes. I've not played the game. To me, this is all fresh territory. This is all new. And I'm enjoying it very much. So let me know what you guys think from a new perspective and a seasoned gameplay perspective. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Cheers, ladies and gents. Take care.